Testing, testing. Cool. We're on lab 4. What are some of the things we need to know about lab 4? First of all, there's a new type of variable in C++ we haven't talked about yet. It gets used sometimes, and it's called a Boolean variable, named after George Boolean. And it's a really simple idea. It's a variable that can take the only 2 values. So it is like, on a computer, a binary number. A binary number in a computer can only be a 1 or a 0. I'm going to call this test 1 or something. It doesn't matter what I call it. So this can only equal the value 1 or 0. Or the word true or false, yes. Okay, watch what happens when I make it false. Do you think it'll write the word false on the screen? Let's have a look.
I'll give you a value.
Okay. Yeah, you know computers like numbers better than it likes words, so it's going to spit out 0. And it does do that. If I make it equal the word true, it will equal 1, yeah. If I make it, as a matter of fact, if I make it anything other than 0, so let's say I make it 99. Remember, it doesn't argue with you when you go kind of out of the bounds of what a variable can hold. It makes it 1. So anything other than 0, I think even minus 99 would make it 1. Okay? So it's a variable that you can turn on or off, basically. On is 1, 0 is off. It says create 2 Boolean variables here called n1 and n2. And output them. Actually, output some things like n1 equals n2. So let's do that. Let's make a Boolean variable called n1, n2. I'll make n1 equal true, n2 equals false. Sure. Okay. And it wants me to output like those 2 things equal to each other. Now, cout is not good at outputting equals. We've all learned that, right? But what you do is you go on brackets, and Boolean variables work a little bit different. You can actually output if they equal each other by putting stuff in brackets. And it's not 1 equals. I think if you do 1 equals, it might crash, it might work, but it won't give you a very unexpected result. It actually did work. But if you want to check if these 2 things are equals, then just put 2 equal signs, and that will check if they're equals. 1 equal sign will try to make n1 equal n2. 2 equal signs will compare them.
We'll compare the variables.
Yeah.
Compare the numbers, see if they're false or true.
Yeah, it will compare if they equal each other. And a comparison is either true or false, right? So it's going to spit out true or false. Now, does true equal false? No. So it's going to spit out false. Will it spit out the word false? No, it just spits out the number 0.
Is there a way you can change that to make 0 equal false?
If I say false and false, it should spit out 1. Because false does equal false. Okay. It does. Another thing I could do is if this was true and this was false, sorry, I wanted to zoom in there, I could say not equals. And the way you write not equals, I think in C++ you can actually write NOT now. I'm not sure. Let's see. No. Yeah, how you write not equals is exclamation point. So this is asking the output to say, does true not equal false? And that is true. They do not equal each other. It gets a little complicated, actually. It gets a little weird in your mind. Like, is it 2 nots make a not, or a true, 2 positives make a negative, you know, stuff like that. Stuff starts getting weird. But as we go along, you'll see, oh, here's a cool one. Output n1 and ampersand. What does that operator do? Okay, let's do it. It says false. What this means is like and. It's basically saying is n1 true and n2 true. Okay. If I make them both true, then it will output true. But if any of them are false, it will output false, because one of them will be false. Okay? Will we be coding a lot like this? No, but it's going to be useful when we start getting our computer to make decisions for us, and that's something we're going to need to do a lot of. We're going to have to ask the computer, is this true? If it is, do this. If it's not true, do that. So that's where it's good to know how to check if two things are equals with the double equals, or even how to use the word and. Like, is this true and this true? Then do this. But if this is true and this is not true, do this. So we're going to get the computer to make decisions for us in Lab 5 and 6. And so we're going to have to know some of the language, the language particulars to do that. Another one it wants you to try is the double bar. That is shift backslash. Also known as, what is that? Pipe operator or something, isn't it? Yeah. So that's cool. What else does it want you to do? It wants you to write down like greater than or equals than. So you can do it with numbers too. For instance, let's say I make two integers, right? Integer I already have n1, so maybe I'll call this m1 and m2. And m1 is equal to 6, and m2 is equal to 9, okay? I can see out a comparison of these two things in brackets. I can see out the comparison with a greater than. Is m2 greater than m1? Okay, oops. With an end line like that. What do you think that will spit out? Do you think m2 is bigger than m1? Yeah, so it'll spit out true or the number 1. There it goes. It spit out, it output number 1. So it did work. Outputs 1. Outputs true, I guess. Okay. Here's another one you could do. Like, you could get a little more complicated. Let's say you want to do m2 is greater than or equal to m1. Well, in math class, you would go like this, right? Greater than, equal to m1. But a computer is not going to be able to interpret that, will it? Oh, it does. Yeah, smart computer. Perfect. So it actually interprets greater than or equal to. So that's nice, okay? We don't actually have to say greater than or, which we realize is the double bars. M2 is equal with double equals too. We'll be making a lot of mistakes where we forget double equals, and all through the course people will be forgetting that. So stay tuned for that, okay? But that's the foundation of lab number 4. Okay, and then there's a couple of little wacky questions at the end that give you really strange ways to make a variable equal something using these Boolean expressions, maybe we'll call them.